everything right, it was you and me.
Hi guys, my name is Nayeema and welcome back to my channel. So first of all, I just want to apologize. I have not uploaded a video in, I don't know, maybe a few weeks now. It's been really chaotic with going back to school and the start of the semester and all that. And on top of that, I am in a huge reading slump, which they usually don't last this long. And I don't know what it is. I miss reading so much. I don't know what is going on, but hopefully I can get out of that soon. I've been trying to read a little bit here and there and just try to like get out of it. But yeah, for today's video, I am doing age gap romance book recommendations, and I am so freaking excited. I read tons of age gap romances. Also, I'm not sure about the setup. As you guys know, if you've been watching me for a while, it's hard for me to film in my dorm room because it's always just like switching and adjusting, and I can never figure out one that I actually like. Today I'm kind of in the middle of the room. Let me know how you guys feel about it. I'm not sure if I like it. So yeah, I'm super excited to get into today's video, and without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so the first book that I'm going to recommend is Bulky by Jessica Cain, and this is actually a 70-page novella. If you know me, you know that I am not a huge novella fan. I have never been into novellas like that, but recently I've been getting into this. This one was recommended to me by my friend Em from Em Reads Romance. You guys should definitely go check her out and subscribe. She is amazing and I love her videos so much, but she recommended that I read Bulky, and I was kind of hesitant at first just because the name, I hate the name Bulky, like what is that? And again, I'm not that huge of a novella reader, so I just wanted to read it and see if it got me out of my reading slump, and it partly did the job. I ended up loving Bulky, and I don't know what it is about this book. This book is about this girl, and she's had a crush on her best friend's father for years now, for years and years. She is actually going through something. Her father is bankrupt, I believe, and he's losing tons of money, and she does not have enough money to go to college. While actively pursuing her best friend's father, she decides to also sign up for like a sugar baby website and send him the link and see if he gets mad. He starts pursuing her too, or whatever the case may be. She ends up joining a website for sugar babies, and then she creates a fake email and sends it to her best friend's father, and then he sees it and he's livid at the fact that she is on this website in the first place. So he decides to become her sugar daddy. They just have like a really cute and sweet romance. She's been pining for him for years, and she is of age. It is a pretty big age gap though, because I believe she's only 18 years old. And yeah, this one is definitely interesting. There's some kinks in here. Some might like it, some might not. I personally happen to love it. It's just like a daddy kink, I guess is what the kink would be. And yeah, I really ended up enjoying this book. It was so good. I gave it 5 stars, and it was only 70 pages. So I highly recommend, if you are going through a reading slump or you just want to read something short and sweet in the midst of other books, I think it's definitely a really great palate cleanser. And yeah, I had so much fun reading this. I definitely want to read more Jessica Cain, and I know this is a book, a part of her Big Boy series, I think it's called. So I want to go back and read the other books in that series because they all look so good, and I cannot believe how much I loved Bulky. The next book that I'm going to recommend is a book that I've talked about a few times recently on my channel, and that is Stroke of Midnight by Kay Webster. This is a series called the Skyscraper Cinderella series, and it's also a part of the Midnight Dynasty universe, which I have come to love. That series, that whole universe of just like different authors, and they're writing about these two rivaling families, the Morellis and the Constantines. So Skyscraper Cinderella, or Stroke of Midnight, follows this girl named Ash, needs a job really badly after her dad decided to dip into her college fund, spending the money in there for his new wife. It's definitely like really close parallels to Cinderella. It's like a Cinderella inspired romance, and I just loved it so much. So her stepmom gets her a job cleaning these office buildings. The office building that she is currently cleaning is for Winston Constantine, and he is the heir to the Constantine kingdom. He's the oldest son and also a lot older than Ash. Ash is just 18 years old. Winston Constantine is a type of guy who likes things set in a certain way. He likes everything neat and organized, and so when Ash starts working there, one night she is supposed to be cleaning his office and she doesn't end up cleaning it. She ends up literally leaving wrappers of her candy everywhere and just like dust. She clearly didn't do her job. So Winston comes in the next day, checks the cameras, and sees that this girl that he's never seen before is just slacking off and not cleaning, and she's getting paid a lot to do so. So the next night when she comes in to clean the offices, he is there and he confronts her, but he is taken completely aback by the fact that she is beautiful. She is so stunning, and he is like, ooh. Winston also has a certain type of kink. He likes to degrade whoever he is with. So it originally started off with another like sugar baby, sugar daddy situation, which I've been reading so much like that recently and I'm loving it. But at first this was very much not my vibe. It felt so weird because he was literally like degrading her and for her to get paid. But I ended up loving this series, binging this series. It was phenomenal. And yeah, so anyways, at first she's like, okay, you're weird, like, but I guess I'll do it. I need money. And that's how the relationship starts. The dynamics change. Ash actually starts to fall for Winston and vice versa. But Winston is a man of certain taste, and Ash is not into the whole degrading thing completely. She likes to be like coddled and stuff like that, so, and praise. So it's a really interesting book about like the dynamics and shifting, especially when they start to fall for each other. So I love this series. It is amazing. I love the little Morelli tits and bits that are involved in this book, and it is amazing. I love this book. So I definitely recommend if you like age gap romances. I can't remember how big the age gap is, but he is like running a whole entire company and she's 18. So I'm pretty sure he is a lot older, probably around like his 40s or maybe late 30s. But this book is amazing. Highly recommend, especially for you guys who like your kinks and your age gap romances. The next book that I'm going to recommend is Dreams of 18 by Saffron A. Kent. And this book was the second Saffron A. Kent book that I've ever read, and I've just come to love her writing so much. Her books are very lyrical and really pretty as well. I know a lot of people don't like that and they just like to get straight to the point, but sometimes it's nice to just be like swept away by how pretty the writing is. So I highly recommend if you like some lyrical pretty writing. I think that Saffron A. Kent is very inspired by Lana Del Rey's music, which I love Lana Del Rey, so her writing just makes me so excited. But Dreams of 18 follows this girl named Violet, and she has had a crush on her next door neighbor and also her friend's father for years and years and years. So on her 18th birthday, she is completely drunk and obliterated, and she decides it's time to finally make the move and kiss her next door neighbor, who is also her high school's football coach. So somehow it gets out. I can't remember how it got out. I think someone probably saw them, took a picture, and spread the news like wildfire. And now Violet is kind of viewed as the town SLUT. And then the hero has disappeared from the face of the universe. He gets fired from his job at the high school, and everybody just like thinks that he's a horrible person, so he disappears for some time. And I believe he moves out to Colorado. But Violet really wants to make it right, so she makes the trek all the way to Colorado and starts trying to get his life back on track and apologize. From there, romance ensues. I love this story, but it is so hard for Violet to make it back into Mr. Edwards's good graces. He absolutely hates her for ruining his life and getting him fired, having his son hate him as well. And so he's very cold-hearted and he's just like really mean to her, and she has to really work at it and get him to melt a little bit. But this book is so good and so swoony, and if you like a grumpy sunshine, I highly recommend this book. I believe it's also kind of like a snowed-in romance, and she has to stay for him a little bit, so it's a little bit of close proximity as well. But I love this book and highly recommend if you are into age gap romances. This one is so good. The next book that I'm going to recommend is another Saffron A. Kent book, and that is the Unrequited. And this one is actually the first Saffron Kent book that I've ever read. It is interesting. It is a stalker romance. I know that the heroine and main character gets compared to Joe from You a lot, so if you are down to read a romance like that, I highly recommend. I know a lot of you guys like stalker romances like me, so I say give it a chance. It is definitely creepy. It's definitely strange, but I loved this book so much. This book follows this girl, and basically she gets sent away to college after doing some things that really pissed off her mom. Her mom started dating this guy, and Layla decides to make multiple moves and multiple passes on her new stepbrother, which completely isolates her from the entire family. And her mom is just like done with her, wants her to be away, so she sends her away to college. I believe pretty far away, and she is just like not in a good place with her family. This whole book has a lot to do with unrequited love, the fact that her stepbrother didn't like her, and she just feels really unloved and just like not wanted by anyone, and she always has crushes, but it's usually unrequited. That's just kind of like her story. So one night she is out on her campus, I believe sitting in a park, and there she sees Thomas Abrams there. She stands there and kind of like watches him for a while, and she becomes absolutely obsessed with him. She starts following him home, and one day during the day she sees him walking, so she decides to follow him, and she ends up in his class. And yes, he is a professor at the university, at her university. So what she does is sign up for his class. She just becomes obsessed with him. This does involve cheating, I believe. Yeah, because he is married, and Layla starts to notice that he is also suffering from unrequited love because he does not get any love at all from his wife. So this is a very like taboo romance. First of all, she's a huge stalker and just likes to stalk people and follow them and be super creepy. But also there is cheating, which I know a lot of you guys don't like as well, but I highly recommend this book. It's so pretty. The writing is beautiful, as I mentioned before about 𝓵𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪's writing. I think it's stunning, and it's just like a lot of fun, a lot of like craziness. You get tons of secondhand embarrassment, like second, third, fourth hand embarrassment. Like it is cringy, but this one is a lot of fun, and I thought the romance was really swoony and emotional and heartfelt, so I highly recommend this book if you are into that type of thing. The final book that I'm going to recommend is The Protégé by Brianna Hale. And this one, I know this one is going to piss a lot of people off. This is a very taboo and dark romance, but I feel like a lot of books that has this type of premise has been coming out and has been a lot more popular, so be sure to check up the trigger warnings for this one, but I really enjoyed my time with this. So this book follows this girl named Isabeau. She grew up in a very hard situation. There was never like food off the table, and when she was younger she was scouted by this guy named Laszlo. She was playing violin, I believe, in the streets and trying to get some money, and she was super young at this age, and Laszlo sees her, and Laszlo is this huge music conductor type guy, and he has like a orchestra, and he sees this little girl playing in the streets, and he's like, where's her parents and why does she have so much talent? He's like, show me like where you live, I want to talk to whoever's taking care of you. And so she takes him to her house, and right away he notices that the condition is awful, and he really wants to recruit her for his orchestra and symphony, and kind of like become like a legal guardian of her while he is training her to be the best violinist that she could possibly be. So she moves there. He helps her out a lot with all that she wants to accomplish in this life. So it is Isabeau's 18th birthday, and for a while now, I think since she was 17, she started to look at Laszlo in a different light, and same with Laszlo, he starts looking at her very differently, and she decides that on her 18th birthday, she's going to make a move. So she does in fact make a move and kiss him, and the relationship is destroyed and ruined. She runs away, and they don't see each other for many years, I believe. She comes back to get a job and start working at his orchestra again. From there, they just like repair their relationship, and this book is incredibly intense. The age gap felt more like intense as well, like it felt very potent, and I feel like hard to forget that there was an age gap in this romance book. There was a lot of raw passion, and it was just all in all a super intense book. I don't usually love books that center around music and like orchestras, just because I'm not that into like music for some reason. Have never been. But this book was so good. I loved it so much, and I highly recommend. This one is definitely taboo, and yeah, because I know a lot of people consider this to be grooming. I really have no idea, but I highly recommend if that is something that you guys are into. The type of book it is, not grooming, obviously. So yeah, that is the last book that I'm going to recommend for today's video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a big like and a comment down below, and also subscribe so you never miss a new upload from me. And let me know if you guys want a part 2. I have so many more age gap romances where that came from, so let me know. I'd love to film it for you guys. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye.
If I got one thing right, it was you and me.